Welcome, you guys, to Thankful Thursday. Let's see if Instagram is going to work today. It's always, here we go. Okay, go back to my streaming software. Welcome to Thankful Thursday. I am Bernina expert Amanda Murphy. Technically, I'm the expert spokesperson for these Q series machines. I have a sit down Q that I will be demoing on today. It is a Q16. I guess I should turn it on. I never turned it on today. So I had a moment of panic this morning when I went to go get a quilt to hang, and there were no quilts. And I thought, what could I have done with all my quilts? Let me see here. Go ahead and comment if you're watching so I can make sure the chat's working, because otherwise I have to log into Restream and watch in a separate window, which is a little more difficult because nothing's coming through here. So worst case, if I don't see anything in the next few seconds, I'll log in on Restream. But what I was telling you guys is that I had this moment of panic because I had no quilts. Oh, good. I'm seeing you guys come through. Hello. So I had this moment of panic because I couldn't find any quilts to hang. And I've just gotten back from an event where I took quilts back in my suitcase, but I also had 3 boxes of quilts shipped. They're supposed to be here today. But I had also shipped those quilts in the suitcase to my next dealer event. So I didn't have any quilts to hang, which is unusual here. Usually I have lots of quilts to hang. But this morning I had nothing to hang. So it was weird. Anyway, sorry I canceled last time. I had a terrible migraine. These allergies, this allergy season is really keeping me down as far as headaches go. I just did an event at Chestnut Ridge and the people were lovely. That's in Millersburg, Ohio. But I had a migraine the entire time I taught. Like days and days and days, and I know it's related to allergies. It's just a lot of pollen here in Charlotte and in different areas of the country. I'm going to go clean my glasses again before I quilt so I can see what we're talking about. So we're at a kind of weird point in the year because in the quilt industry, many events are in April and May. I always stop events in May midway through because I have BU coming up, and BU is Bernina University. It's the dealer show. I would say more of my products debut at Bernina University than anywhere else. In fact, I have some rulers. Marissa, if you're watching this from Brewer, I have rulers that I need to proof for you. So all that stuff is getting done now, but we have these dealer events wrapping up. So I wanted to tell you, I'm glad you liked the Chestnut Ridge event. It's fun. You guys got to try a lot of different things. So a lot of these mega events, these what Bernina calls mega events, these dealer events, the advantage is you get like a half a day in each classroom, and the dealer provides everything, the machines, all your supplies, and you try a little bit of each technique, right? So obviously I teach quilting, but there's a serger room. There's usually 2 domestic rooms. There might be a software room. It just depends on the event. I'm always in the long arm room, and I wanted to tell you guys about the upcoming events. So I have to open this up because I don't remember honestly. This is the crazy, as I said, a crazy time of year for me. The week after next, I go to Hoover's, which is in Pennsylvania, and that's a fantastic event. And then I have a week home, and I fly out to Portland to do Montevilla's event. Now, Montevilla said they still had a few spots left. So, you guys, I'm going to Montevilla, which is in Portland, and then the next week I'm going to Quality in Seattle. Quality's already full. So, if you're looking for an event and you live in or you want a class from me and you're living in the Pacific Northwest, this is the last time I will be in the Pacific Northwest this year. I know they're kind of back to back, Montevilla and Quality. Montevilla's Portland, Quality Seattle, so they're 2 different markets, so that's fine. But it is the last time I will be in the Pacific Northwest the rest of the year. Okay, so I'm going to go over my teaching schedule really quickly. I'm going to tell you guys the deal about ambassador cards, which you know. I'm going to tell you what's new, and then we're going to quilt. Okay, so that's how it's going to go. So let's see. Okay, so April 12th, no, 9th through 11th, that's Hoover's. Then Montevilla, the one in Portland that I told you guys they still have a few spots left. It's April 24th to 26th. That's going to be a super fun event. Then we have Quality, May 1st through 3rd in Seattle. I believe that one is full. And then you got to sign up for these early because they fill a lot of the time. Let's see. Then I'll be at H&H. So if you're a shop, please come see me at H&H. If you look for the Brewer, Bernina, Benartex area, that's where I'll be. Okay, so I'll be at H&H, which is an industry show. Then July 24th to 26th, I'll be in Hudson, Illinois. That's I have it written down. It's between Chicago and St. Louis. You guys who are from the Midwest are gonna laugh at my geography right there, but there it is. Okay, so that's going to be all of these are great events. Then we have Pine Needles in Minnesota, August 5th through 7th. August 5th through 7th, so the first week in August. Then August 22nd to 24th, I have Bernina World of Sewing, which is in Raleigh. They're actually opening a new store this week, I think. I saw it on Instagram. But I'll be with Sona at World of Sewing in Raleigh. Now, all these events, with the exception of Hudson, that has a very large store, all these events are usually in hotels, okay? Just to accommodate the classroom space because you need a lot of classrooms to do these events. Then I will be at Inspired to Sew September. Oh, wait a second. I got lost. I will be in Alaska. Definitely judo, probably Anchorage in early September. I don't think those events have been announced yet. I'm getting into events that may not have been announced. Inspired to Sew, September 18th to 20th. Then I have Mel's in California, Anaheim, California, September 29th to October 1st, heading into Quilt Market. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, heading into Quilt Market. And then I have two more events I don't think they've been announced yet, so I'm not going to mention them there. So that's the rest of the year, which is why I said if you're in the Pacific Northwest or somewhere near there, you should sign up for Portland, Montevilla's event, April 24th to 26th. Okay. Okay. Next up, ambassador cards. You guys know the deal. This is only, hi Patty from Canada. Patty, I'm sorry, this is only for, and I say this to all my international friends. This one thing is Bernina of America, which is the ambassador card. So, and the reason why is Bernina of America pays for the cards. So it has to be an American sale. But if you're looking to buy a Bernina in the next 30 days, I can give you a rebate card that has to be a new Bernina, has to be over $1,000, which is pretty much like all Berninas. And I can give you a rebate card if you write me, but you guys know you have to write me before you buy. And the rebate, basically what happens, you send in your receipt with the rebate and they send you a check for $100. The card is only good for 30 days. You have to write me before you buy because it must be dated before you actually make the purchase, before you put any money down at all. So you guys know that. Laura Star, same deal for Laura Star's over $7.99. So if you've been eyeing a Laura Star system, same deal. I can give you a rebate for $50. My hair is crazy today. It's always kind of funny on these. $50. And it has the same deal. You have to contact me before you buy. Okay? Okay, so that's Laura Star. And you can contact me using the contact form on my website, or if you've ever downloaded a free pattern from my website, you know my email anyway. And speaking of emails, okay, you guys, I've been having problems with like Comcast. There's a few other domains that like to block business emails. If you're ordering from my website, and you're with Comcast or one of those smaller services, oftentimes they'll just block all business emails. You have to add me to your safe senders list, or you won't get the confirmation of the order. And if it was a printed pattern, it's not a big deal. You're going to get the pattern anyway, but still, the tracking number might not go through, things like that. Sometimes I catch that and then manually send it from the personal email, but I don't always catch that because there's a lot of automatic emails that get sent out. So this is especially important if you order a digital pattern because the pattern's delivered through email. So you're not going to get the email unless you add me to your safe senders list, right? Okay. Speaking of patterns, we are just rolling along here. There's a new pattern. I wanted to show you this cover, but guess what? I just shipped this to Hoover, so I can't. So this is the 990 cover-up pattern. And you can see, as usual, has lots of diagrams, right? Because we do things, everything's graphic. And we have the big placement diagram. Okay, this is only a printed pattern, okay? That's because of my agreement with Bernina on it. So it's only a printed pattern. It's on my website. If you are a Bernina dealer, you can order it through Brewer. They have the exclusive. You can also order it through me if you have a coupon code. And if you don't have that, you can write me for one. But Brewer, they have it listed. If you are international, probably going through Brewer is going to be your best bet if you're an international Bernina dealer and you want to sell these, because it's going to be cheaper shipping than buying it for me, right? If you are a consumer, I do ship internationally, but and I have a pretty good rate for patterns, but I do not ship to the EU or England because the VAT tax situation over there is way too complex for me to figure out as one business person. So maybe at some point, if I do online classes, I'll have to figure that out, but I have not yet, which is why you can ask your Bernina dealer to order it. They can order it through Brewer, and then you will have it. Okay, so it's just they require you to register and like pay all the separate countries, and I don't get enough orders to justify that. I like honestly, I don't know how people do all that paperwork. Okay, I wanted to mention a couple other things coming up. As I said, back there I have rulers that need to be approved. Hello, all of you guys who are on today. I'm seeing all the things pop up now. I wonder if there's a delay in comments. Okay, I wanted to mention these. These are my whole cloth block patterns. They are really good for teaching rulers. So as you see, it takes one ruler, which the first one, number one, is for the every angle, and it would also work with the every angle plus. And it tells you how to make the whole cloth block. It's like connect the dots, sort of, right? It has all these diagrams. And the first four have been out for a while, and they cover, I think number one covers every angle, every two covers every curve. So they're all my quilting templates. Number three covers every circle. And number four covers ovals, right? Every oval ruler. At H&H, the new industry show, I'm going to have a fifth. Okay, I'm not telling you there's one ruler that's coming out at H&H, and then there's a set of rulers that is coming out at BU. I'm not going to tell you about the rulers until those shows pass. I will share it with you once those shows pass. But there will be a fifth whole cloth pattern. I still have to write it. So I thought I'd just mention these now leading up to it. And the deal with the whole cloth is you can finish it as an 18-inch pillow, but you could also finish it as sort of a quilt as you go quilt. And on my website, there's a download for how to put it together as a quilt as you go quilt. So I'm coming out with one more in about a month. Also in about a month, I have a new book. So that's exciting. And I will be doing signed copies here. You can also order it from your dealer. Okay. Or from Amazon. Gosh, I hate Amazon. I hate Amazon. So do you know we finally got most of the knockoffs off Amazon? It has taken my husband 6 months working constantly to get those knockoffs from China off Amazon. Oh, it has been like such a rigmarole. It is not set up for people who have copyright. It was a lot. Um, I hate all that stuff you have to go through with trademarks and copyright, but you got to go through it. I obviously put these up here for a reason, and I can't remember why. This is a Union Square kit. It's my last kit in the night color story. Oh, I was going to say, I only have one more kit in the night color story. I have a handful in the day color story. I'd show you the quilt, except I can't because I shipped off all my quilts. You guys remember that? So instead, I will show you a pattern. Let me just find a pattern here so you can see it, because was the quilt made almost entirely. Just getting another pattern out here. Oh my goodness. So you can see all my mess today, which you guys normally I have a quilt up so you can't see it. Okay, so this is Union Square. This is the one I have one more in the night color story. It's made mostly of panels, except for the flying geese on it. And then I also have kits of this guy, which is my favorite. Look at that quilting. It's so fun. It's basically only loops and things with straight line, but it's really effective on that one. Okay, I was going to mention that. I mentioned that. Okay, we're getting to the heart of the matter. Yes, it is wonderful. Thank you, Deborah, that I'm winning against Amazon. I hate Amazon. I hate Jeff Bezos does not need yet another yacht. They're so money hungry. They're going to put me out of business if I don't watch it. So yes, I got the with a shape like this just so you can see it. So I get why people with a shape like this just so you can see it. So I get why people think that, but it doesn't really quilt a true heart. Do you see how you see those white lines? You can see those really clearly, right? That's the shape it creates. Because, and the reason why this isn't a true heart is it doesn't come down to a real indent. So you know how on a true heart, it comes down to an indent, right? Well, that shape, when you have a shape that comes to a point and then goes out and it's external, it becomes a problem with the ruler, because if I make a point on a ruler and you're quilting around the ruler point, well, one, that point of plastic is a fragile point, and if you push hard enough, you're going to knock off a little bit of the plastic, right? So you can't really do it that way. But also, even if you could quilt around a point, you come around it, your stitch line is a 1/4 inch away from the edge of the ruler. And so what it does is it creates like a little semicircle, right? So it goes instead of coming to a true point. So when I designed hearts, which actually predated these petal rulers, I had to design it so that you would quilt around one side of the heart, then you move the ruler and you finish the heart, right? That's the only way to get this internal point, is to separate it into sides. I tried a bunch of other things and none of them worked cleanly enough. Okay, so the heart, you're basically quilting in two passes, okay? Whereas the petal, you're going all the way around because you don't have to deal with the internal point. Does that make sense? Now, the lines on these rulers work similarly. So you'll notice there's black lines. See those black curved lines? What they do is, if you wanted to have a row or a column of petals in this case, you would quilt a petal and a half, come back over to the other side of this petal, right? And you'd move your ruler over. And then these black lines on the ruler would go over your previous quilting line. So the black is always if you're doing a row or a column. So same thing here. Those black lines, if these were side by side by side, the black lines would go over the previous heart you just quilted, right? That's what the black lines are for. The white lines are the offset. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to quilt this in a minute, but I want to explain it first. If I quilted a row of petals or a row of hearts, and I wanted to quilt over that row again, another row of motifs that were halfway between all the motifs on the previous row, that's what I mean by offset. And that's what the white lines tell you to do. So when you're doing that second pass, the white lines help you with the offset. Now, obviously, there are dash lines too, and the dash lines are there for general alignment. And also, like if you wanted to do a column of these, um, those dash lines also help you stay in the center of the quilting area. Okay. So, yeah. So I think now I could go ahead and quilt. The one other thing I wanted to tell you is the hearts come in, there's set one and set two. The difference is the sizes. In set one, they're 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. And set two, they're 3, 4, and 5 inch hearts. And the first set corresponds with the heart panel. Ah, right? Um, I wish I had this quilted up, but basically it looks like this. This. Okay, so this is set one. And then set two. Oh, wait, let me show you the other colors of set one. Okay, hold on. Let me reach over. I wasn't planning on showing this, but since I'm showing the other panel, I'll show you this. So this is still set one. This is the same panel in the lake color story. So a little different, right? So this is heart set one. Okay. Petal set one. Remember, I showed you petal set two. This is petal set two. Petal set one has petals that are narrower. There's also 4 of them and taller. So it's the shape that's different. And I do have a panel that goes with set one. I do not have a panel that goes with set two because you can't do everything in one fabric collection. So this is the set one. And you can see the petal shapes in this are narrower than what I showed you in the ruler, right? So these are sold in the bundles on the site. Okay. Now, I'm going to actually quilt for you a row of petals and a row of hearts to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then if I quilt petals or hearts in a quilt, I oftentimes will incorporate similar shapes in my free motion. Doesn't have to be exact. So, and I would expect that my free motion shapes are not going to be as regular as the ruler work shapes. Sorry guys, I did not clean and oil this machine because I have been gone. And when I've been here, I've been doing other things. I haven't done much quilting, although upstairs I got this in Australia from the Australian Bernina people. Thank you, Australian Bernina people. I love my red brush. I love that it's color coordinated. It gives me great joy. So, what was I saying to you guys? Can't even remember now. Hello from Norway. Hello. Okay. Anyway, oh yeah. I'm doing fat quarter flow, fat quarter fracture, and twirl all in the Cotton Shot color stories. I just finished piecing all the blocks for 2 versions of flow. I have you guys know twirl, right? It's this thing. Yeah, so this takes more time than fat quarter flow, which is a super easy quilt. I have all the blades made in twirl, but of course, that quilt takes as long to quilt as it does to piece. So I really have to move because I need it for Hoovers coming up. So first, I need to open the box of rulers and approve them today. Okay. So I'm just going to work on this thing we were working on the other day. Do you remember when I was showing you Summit and we had triangles, quilted triangles? Okay, I'm just going to work on the same the same. I was going to look and see if I have a chocolate liner. Oftentimes chocolate liners get packed in boxes. You know what? I'm going to turn this over and work from the back so we can see if I mark in a blue pen. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to pretend like I'm working a border, right? Okay. I don't know if you're the only one having trouble with the sound going in and out. It could be the streaming. If you watch as a recording later, hopefully it goes away. Okay, let's see. I am trying to find a ruler. Oh, here. Ah, things are always so crazy. Guy from Massachusetts. Hello. Okay, so you guys know usually you're marking you have a border on your quilt, and we don't yet have a border on the quilt. So I'm going to just choose a ruler to use. Let's see, that's 3.5. The heart rulers I have. Okay. I have 2.5, 2.5, 3.5, 3.5. Okay. I'm just going to mark a border that's 4 inches because I happen to have two 3.5-inch rulers in front of me. Okay. So, because then I can kind of like compare apples to oranges. It's not apples to oranges. I'm doing the same thing. So I'm gonna mark like a 4-inch channel on my fabric. Okay. And I'm gonna stay, hopefully I'll stay square in the channel. We'll see. So after this, you guys know we have to go get muffins and beg for muffins at the coffee shop because, you know, they keep the really good muffins away. Like they try to sell their bad muffins, but the muffins are a big part of our day, so we actually have to go beg. You guys, I'm going to have to mark this in Sharpie because this isn't marking. This must be out of ink. Don't mark your quilts in Sharpie, okay? Just because I'm doing it for a practice session. Anyway, so we have to stop by. I have a bunch of 990 covers to mail off, and my patterns get mailed via postal service, whereas other times, often I'll use UPS, but it's too expensive for patterns. So I have a bunch of patterns to lay out. This post office, we used to have a really good post office. This one is seriously creepy. I don't even like to go into it. I make my husband go into it. It like has bad energy. It's just, ugh. It's so depressing. I just can't even take it. This postal's, the other one was so good. I'm so sad to see it go. Okay, let me turn on my camera. Okay, Anita, all I can say, and she probably can't hear me, I can't do much about the sound on a live stream. So all I can say is maybe try to watch the recording and hopefully it will be better. Okay. Um, it's so hard to control technology like this. Okay. I don't think my husband's even watching videos or anything. So here we're just putting on our gloves. Okay. Are you back in your house? Yes, I am back in my house. Yeah, I have a feeling it's the YouTube streaming because the reason why, so you guys, I'm reading these comments that are happening on YouTube. Anita's saying she's having it skip in and out. She's on YouTube. Darlene's saying from Facebook she can hear me. So I have a feeling it's the streaming on YouTube today. Um, but hopefully it will be fixed in a recording. There's so little control I have over that other than to say everyone in this house better not be watching videos when I'm like, I have really good internet though, because I have business internet, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, let's do one and then the other. So I'll start here. Okay, so we're going to start in the middle just because, um, well, basically, I'm going to work out this way in the back end, and then I'm going to do the hearts the other direction. Okay, just so you can see. Now, I'm using the dashed lines to stay centered within the border. So if you look at this, right, that's my border line, that's my border line. So I'm using the dashed lines to stay center. And you guys know the cardinal sin would be crashing on a ruler. So this would be an instance where I go to my screen and lower my foot on the screen and then bring it up to the point, my starting point. And then I'd move away the ruler to bring up the bobbin thread. So I'm essentially avoiding crashing on the ruler. I never want to um, come down and just hope for the best. That's tempting fate. Okay, so I started to sew, which means I can bring over my ruler. Now, with the petals, you quilt all the way around, okay? All the way around. Well, actually, you have two different ways of doing this. You can do a petal and a half and end up over here, and then do another petal and a half, and then another petal and a half. Or the joining point is the solid line right here. If I didn't want to do that, I could quilt the top of one petal, the bottom of another petal, the top of one, the bottom of another. Okay? And then I'd fill it in on my way back. So let's try that. Basically, what that would mean if I wanted to do that is I'd come all the way around until I get to that solid line. So it's not in the center of the widest point of the petal is actually the solid line. It's not the vertical center of the petal. And if I wanted to do that up, down thing, and you know what? I took my snips and shipped those too. So let's just see. We will use totally oversized scissors to snip this. Okay. So if I then, and I don't know if you guys can see this, the black line is going over, that black curved line goes over the top of my previous petal. So now, go back to that solid line again, move this over, right? And now I'm going to actually come down and do the bottom of this. Now you'll notice there's a slit, and I can make a slit in rulers that have corners to their shape. I can't, if I did a slit on my circles, it would compromise the ruler design. But here there's a corner, and so there's a corner right, I can put the slit right in the corner. It doesn't change the shape of what I'm quilting. Oh look, I slipped off my ruler. So if I did that in real life, what I would do, because I'm not a perfectionist, is I'd go back and stitch the right thing, and then I'd go and just rip out that little bit of offending stitches, okay? Don't talk while you do ruler work. Okay. Okay, so now this is where the white lines come in. If I want to do another pass of this, a second pass, and I want it centered over these motifs, right? I want this second pass centered. I go up to where the white line is. So the white line's right there. I move the ruler over, and now the white lines should be over the previously quilted lines. See that? See? Okay, and now I essentially do the same thing. So it doesn't really matter whether I go over or under first, looking at those white lines for alignment. This is honestly why my rulers sell so well. It's because the lines make so much sense and require so little marking because it's all on the ruler. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and finish this up. Okay, so that's my motif, right? That is doubled over. And as I said, I would have taken that out. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing with hearts. Now, you notice this is it is a little heart shaped, but it's not a true heart because it doesn't indent right there. And actually, we'll see this with the hearts. The way I design my hearts, they curve in and then out, and they're a true circle at the top. So it's a different shape entirely. See how this curls out and then there's a slight bump? This one curves in. if that makes sense. Okay. So, yeah, Anita, try on replay because it could have to do with the streaming. Okay. By the way, you guys, if you um, are watching this as a recording, I do not monitor these. So don't keep asking questions in the chat. If you have a burning question, you're watching this as a recording, please come into my Facebook group to ask the question because I don't monitor these forever. Now, I know the starting point here is going to be a 1/4 inch up from the edge of this 4-inch channel because I have a 3.5-inch ruler. So I'm not gonna even start in, normally I just start a 1/4 inch in, but I just quilted up to that. And now the lines on the ruler should line up. So okay, so you have to think of how you want to do this. Do you want to do this top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, which is kind of how I did it before? Or if you want to do a top, bottom, you'd stop here, right? And then you'd go over and do the bottom of the next one. And I'm always looking at these dashed lines to stay centered. Those dashed lines are really helping me. I know the edge of my border should be centered between each of the dashed lines. I don't think I'm going to fit a whole heart on the other side, so I'm just going to start coming back. Right? And I have to split this heart and quilt each side separately. So I would say the hearts are probably slightly more time consuming just because I'm stopping and repositioning, but only slightly more because the density is basically the same, right? The density is the same in how this works. So, because I want to get to free motion in a minute, let me just say, how are we doing on time? We're doing okay. Okay, so this works the same way for the offset. So you go up to the white line. You move over the ruler, okay? And now, basically, it's funny with hearts because when I design my hearts, the top of the hearts are perfect circles. They're going to share, the top of that second pass is going to share the top of these hearts. Do you see how it's the same? So basically on the second pass with hearts, you don't even have to quilt the top of the heart. You're only quilting the bottom. So now I'm kind of like connecting points. Gosh, so maybe hearts aren't slower. Because, yeah, you're having to shift the ruler over, but that second pass, you're only quilting the bottom of the heart. Oh, this guy's hanging off the edge, so I'll just finish him. Okay. So that would be hearts. Now, let me come over here. I'm going to show you, as we come over, I'm going to just show you a free motion design I would do to go with this. So I'm kind of with my free motion design, letting the hearts bend. If I was really crazy, I might put in a little circle with this before I went and did another heart. Okay, so that would be something that kind of echoed those hearts elsewhere. And if I get into a weird position like this where there's not quite enough space to do another motif, I just echo to get out of that space. And then I'm on my way again. Okay, so that would be for the heart side. If I was doing, and I'm rotating not because I'd rotate in real life, but so you can see the other motif. I'm rotating for the camera here. If I had petals, um, maybe a design that I might use with petals would be kind of like a petal feather, like that shape. Maybe I throw in some other shapes with it, and then you could even put in a little vein in these. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more of this. You guys get any questions, remaining questions you have, please post them so I can answer them. Again, if you are watching as a recording, I wasn't thinking of what I was doing there, but we'll just go with it. If you're watching as a recording, remember to come into my Facebook group to ask me questions. 'Cause if I had to look at these all the time, you guys, it's awful to watch yourself. If I had to look at these, I would never do another. Okay, so that gives you more of a pattern I might do with that ruler. They don't have to be matchy matchy, but I often will take inspiration from ruler shapes. Okay, let me see. Now, normally I'm going to see if there's any questions. I can only go back like 20 or so comments here. Let's see. Other than Anita, let's see. Any hints to the new book? I debated showing the new book because I'm worried if I show it, you guys are all going to go to Amazon. And you know I hate Amazon. I'm going to show you the book anyway. Hopefully you'll order from the Quilt Shop dealer or an independent dealer or from me eventually. I don't have this posted yet, but I will show you the new book. So it is the Free Motion Quilting Workbook, and it has, let me turn, let's see, I'm going to turn this back on. Okay. And it is my 20 favorite open all over designs. So designs where you don't have to go over your previous quilting. And basically the way it works, I mean, it starts with loops, right? Something really basic. There's those hearts, there's those feathers. But the idea is for every design you have, okay, you have it printed on one page, okay? Printed on one page, and then, hold on, let me turn this off because it's throwing the lights. Okay, so, and then the next page, it's really light so you can trace it. And then the third page, there's just a little of it and you fill in, and the fourth page is blank for you to fill in on your own. So the idea is you kind of teach your brain the different shapes, right? I use open swirls all the time, but that was one of the harder patterns for me to master when I started. It's my open paisley. You guys know that. So kind of, I mean, and I was filming some of this for a promo thing, so here's my messy drawing in there. But it kind of gives you those things that you can trace and kind of get the hang of it. It's a true workbook. We'll see. If this is popular, we might do more of them, like borders or whatever, or feathers or something like that. But so it'll be interesting to see what you guys think. I haven't done something like this before. So there's all these variations of of like the designs I do over and over and over. I thought then was this one was really fun. Um, I'm just leafing through for you. Swirling vines. If you're coming to one of my events, they have ordered them for the events, and I can sign them there. See, and that's like a combo of a bunch of different motifs, but they're all opens. They can all be like combined in different ways. So anyway, I hope you like the book. Let me go back so I can see. I have to turn this off so I can see back. Okay, that just goes back to there. Yeah, good. I hope you like it too. Um, I don't for um Donna said I make free motion look easy. I actually try not to get in my own way with free motion. Like you can get so worried about every little error and you're never going to see it in reality. Like you wouldn't have even really seen that mistake I made when I was using rulers because what you notice is the quilt kind of square and doesn't have texture. Um, so I really don't think that you see things that people get really hung up on, and it's about not getting in your own head because if you get in your head, you start watching the mistake you made 30 seconds ago, and then like you're making more mistakes because you're watching over there. Um, so you got to think about that. Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you like that. I wish I had that in Fresno, California on the 3-day event. Yeah, the publishing dates didn't align with Fresh. Literally, this is just, I don't even have, I have this one, two samples because I was filming a promo for CNT. This is literally just shipping now. Um, Books take forever. Like, I drew this, I was on an accelerated timeline because they know I'll turn things in um, pretty much done. Um, and so I was on an accelerated timeline. I drew this in the weeks after BU last year. And then just like and I had said to them when they kept asking me to do another book, and I said, I don't know where I'm going to find the time. This was a book of drawings, and so said to them, if it has to happen, this is CNT Publishing, my publisher. If it's happening, it needs to happen in the weeks after BU, like right after. We need to go and I need to draw it one after the other, and they were like, okay. And then I had gotten myself into doing another book, so. When it came out was basically predicated not even upon the cycle of the industry, but the cycle of when my BU work was done. It had to be after BU. And then I ended up not getting fabric for BU, and that's a whole other story. But in anticipation, oftentimes I'll plan things around deadlines I already have. So it's anyway. Um, Yeah, I don't mean to be so rough on Amazon, but they just did a terrible job policing fake versions of my product, and they made it really hard for me to get control of it. But I have control of it now, except my husband has to check every day that because you get one Chinese knockoff down and they pop up as a new company. It's like so anyway, that's all. Let's see. That's it. When I have the book in hand, I'll post them on my site. But again, if you're coming to Montevilla, Quality, or Hoover's, we're actually having to get them drop shipped to Hoover's. It's so tight, but we should have them there. Okay. Do I change stitch length when changing to free motion? Okay. It depends on what I'm doing. There, I didn't. I was doing pretty big free motion. I mean, it was like a medium fill, and I felt. Let's just look at that for a minute. One more thing I'll show you before my husband he's ready to go because he wants to be fed. Okay. I did not change stitch length. I had it in the default setting of 10 stitches per inch the entire time. Probably looking at this now, it might have been good to go up to 12. There's a few areas where I feel like the curve could have been more nicely defined if it was 12. It's just, let me just change to 12 so you see it. Um, but that being said, I don't think it looked bad. So if I change to 12, it might look, see, it's a little tighter of a stitch. Might look a little better. There's no need to go above 12 for that. I didn't just because I didn't even think of it. Okay. Okay. So I think that's it. And I will see you. Oh, next time. When is next time? Okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to do a thankful Thursday. We're going to be for April. We'll be back on the normal schedule of the first and third Thursdays of the month. I am sorry about this month. I was traveling 2 weeks, and then that one day, I had such a bad migraine. There was no way I was going to be able to do one of these. So, but in April will be the first and third Thursdays of the month, which means there'll be a thankful Thursday next Thursday. Then I'm away for a week. Then we'll do the following Thursday. And May we'll get to. I'm at H&H the first Thursday in May, but I may try. It depends on the situation there. I don't even know if I'll have Wi-Fi. So we'll see what happens there. But next month will be the normal schedule unless I announce it Facebook because something comes up. And I think that is it. So thank you guys for tuning in today. And I will see you next time. Um, and you guys know my website. If you need to contact me, that contact form is the best way. Remember to add me to your safe senders list, though, if you're on something other than Gmail. If you're on like Comcast or something, add me to your safe senders list because that's the only way you'll get like free patterns, etc. delivered. Because all that stuff goes up automatically, and I don't always catch it if it gets hung up. There's just too many of them. Okay? Thank you guys, and I will talk to you next week.